Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The source of this material comes from an entity called Bashar. I'm following Bashar for probably about 2 years now. So it's a story that comes from one of his seminars. There's two actually, but they're all about abundance. This is the theme today. So I like to try to add my own input on some of these things because it's like being passionate about being passionate. It's really something I really feel strongly about. And it's a joy to be here. So let's discuss about the idea of this perspective of awakening our consciousness. Let's begin what we call the big A, abundance. It seems to be an issue that much of us, our attention has been seen to absorb much of for quite some time. To address the notions of abundance, you can understand that tracking abundance in your life is quite a simple matter. It does not have to be in any way any struggle that you may have created it to be. Many of you have been told that abundance is certain things, but not other things. Many of you have become wrapped up in the definitions that create abundance, or apparent lack of it. Allow us to address the notion and make very clear in your understanding that it's only your definitions of abundance that prevent you from experiencing it in your lives. There is absolutely nothing inherent in the idea of abundance or experience of abundance that is difficult to attain. Only your definitions of abundance make it seem to be beyond your reach. Here comes another new definition. Are you paying attention? All right. Ability is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. Period. You didn't say anything about money. You left out money. What good is abundance without money? Well, what good is money without abundance? Again, allow yourself to understand the basic definition of abundance. The ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. Yes, on our planet we understand that we have one symbol of abundance called money. Yes, it's valid. Yes, it's a creative, but it's going to change. That's all right. It's still valid. It's just as creative as any other way to represent abundance. What do you mean, any other way? What other way? Well, there are many other ways, and that's the difficulty in the definition. You see, only abundance only has money. Very often you don't see abundance in other forms. You're blind, so to speak, abundance blind, because green is the only color you allow abundance to come in. But abundance comes in a total spectrum. The idea is to understand you must relax your resistance, that it must come a certain way or I won't accept it. I won't recognize it if I don't see this and this on such and such a date, to the penny. Otherwise, I'm not abundant. What's wrong with me? I can't attract this amount of money by this date because I need it for this and I need it for that. What's wrong with me? Again, these are definitions. If you allow yourself to understand that abundance is simply whatever way, shape, or form, your automatic synchronicity can allow you to attract in your life what you need to do, when you need to do it, then you begin to realize that you are very abundant and have been quite for some time. When money is the strongest way a particular kind of abundance can be filled, the money will be there. You'll attract the opportunity to give you the money. But when the money is not the simplest way, it is not the path of least resistance, which may be the least way it manifests. You may be receiving other ways that abundance is manifesting in your life, or, I'll say, attempting to manifest in your life. But you may not be allowing it to, again, because of your definition. The rich person's story. I'll give you an analogy. The analogy keys directly into the concept of fundamental, unconscious belief systems. When you're growing up, many individuals on our planet hear many stories and many parables, as you call them. And perhaps one day you hear a parable of a very, very rich person. Being a small child, open to all information, you sit there and absorb this parable. The parable says this. This person is exceedingly abundant, and at the same time, this person is exceedingly mean, nasty person. So your budding little mind says, oh, abundance equals nastiness, and it joins the two. The two ideas marry and fuse in your conscious belief matrix. So one day, you've forgotten that you already heard that parable. You go up and say to yourself, I really, really like to be abundant. I really like to be rich. But then all of a sudden, somewhere deep down inside, You can't even hear a little voice says, but if I become rich, I'm going to become nasty, and I don't want to do that. See? So I'm not going to let myself become rich. So now you dive deep in your meditation, you're quiet within yourself, and dive back through in your own personal history, you discover what beliefs that are there you have about situations of life, including abundance. Then when you get those beliefs and why you have them, then you can recognize how you may be sabotaging yourself, constantly short-circuiting yourself by having piggyback belief systems that have no business being together, being joined together. When you understand that you have beliefs like the one you just mentioned, then you can clarify the issue by saying, but now I understand a person can be rich without being mean. Now I understand that, but I had to understand that I believed it was not possible before this point. I equaled nastiness and abundance as one concept, and therefore will not allow myself to be rich. Now how would I prefer to believe it is to be rich? Redefine your own personal definition. Once you understand what the definition is, rewrite it. Use your imagination. Rewrite the belief the way you prefer it to be. I'm a loving, kind, beautiful, artistic, creative individual, and rich individual. That's the kind of individual I prefer to be. And now I can be, without in any other way, shape, or form, having hurt anyone else or myself, whatever I want to be. Now that's how powerful I really am. That's true power. Power. When you understand that you are already as powerful as you need to be, without having to hurt anyone else or yourself, in order to create the reality you prefer, then you know true power. Power is not control. It is not domination, which a lot of people think it is. It is not attempting to try to make your reality conform to your willpower. No. Will is simply focus. It is simply clarity about whom and what you are and what it is you prefer. And clarity about what it is you believe you deserve. That's a big issue, deservability. Big issue, especially with regard to abundance. Do I deserve to be abundant? But again, it's the actions themselves. It's the reality itself that says it all. Are you willing to believe it to the point where you're willing to be it? Where you're willing to act it out? To be that person? That abundant person can then attract that reality to themselves. As long as you trust that you are not avoiding something you need to look at, you must trust that your excitement is a thing to follow, then act in that direction. The dream house. Imagine you're very excited about having a beautiful dream house. I would love to live in a house. Oh, look up on that hill like that one. That's my symbol, that's my model. I want a house just like that. It's my all-consuming passion to live in a house like that. Well, how can I live in a house like that? I can't afford that. I don't have the money. I guess I'll have to get a job. I'm not really excited about getting a job. It's the only way I can think of. Right? I have to get a job. I have to work very hard. I have to save a lot of money. And maybe in a few years, maybe I can have a house like that one up on the hill. I better go get a job. So you scan your papers, you don't see anything, but you see a house that is old, tolerable. You say, well, it's worth it because I'm going to get the other house someday. It's worth it to suffer now because I'm going to get rewarded later. That's a big one religion. By the way, it's quite unique to our planet. Back to the house. So now you're walking down the street with a paper in your arm, like a newspaper. You're ready to go to a big job interview with a job that you know you're not excited about. But it's all right. It's okay. It's a living. And then you run into a friend. He says, well, hello. How are you? Why don't you come up and join me for lunch? Well, you know that's an awful proposition compared to what I'm about to do. Definitely more exciting than going on this job interview. But no, I don't have the time. I've got to go. If I don't go on this interview, I'll miss a job. I won't be able to make the money. I won't get in my house, and that's what really excites me. Well, you've got to eat. You can't have work if you don't keep up your strength. Well, all right, you say, good argument. I'll spare a little time. It's more exciting. I'll spare a little. I can't be late. So he wants to meet with this person. So off you go. You follow excitement. The most exciting thing you were offered at that moment. Out of all of the things that you can act on, you took the one that excited you the most at that moment. And you went to have lunch with this other person. You are... And you were having a good time and you say, where did the time go? Oh, no, I missed the job interview. Now I'll never get the job, I never get the money, I never have my house. Oh, no. But as you sit there bemoaning your fate, a friend of your friend comes along, sits down and says, well, hello, nice to meet you. Why the long face? Well, it's a long story. But you go through the whole thing anyway because misery loves company, and you wind up with, you'll never be able to get, no, I'll never be able to get my dream house, and no, I would love to have a house like that. You know the one up on the hill on such street? I would love to. What? On such street, you mean there, Pop? Oh yes, I would love to have a house like that. I would love to live in a house like that. That's what really excites me, not the job. The job didn't excite me. But I'm never going to have that house. I don't have a job, I don't have any money. Well, wait a minute, new friend says, that's my house. And you know what? I'm very happy to see my friend here because I'm leaving for about 3 years to go on an extended trip. I was going to ask if you knew anyone who might want to stay in my house and take care of it for free. You mean if I had gone to the job interview, I would never have made this lunch, I would never have run into you, and never have offered me the ability to stay in my dream house for free? Oh, I get it. And now here comes the panel of cynics. That's a fairy tale. Life doesn't work that way. That's too good to be true. It's just a coincidence. Never happened to millionaires. 1 in a million chance. Well, what are the odds against that? All right, thank you, cynics. You had to say goodbye. Life does work that way. What the time? Every moment. Every second. When you allow it to. By following the thing that excites you the most, you. By allowing your positive synchronicity to work for you in the same way you've been allowing your negative synchronicity to work for you. Yes, there are coincidences, but they're not accidental. The idea of missing a boat is negative synchronicity because it's a perfectly timed reflection of your fears and doubts. Fairy tales. Perfect timing is something you always have. It's a simple matter of whether you have perfect timing in the things you do or don't prefer. That's all. Your timing is always flawless. What it brings you is utterly based on the third absolute. What you put out is what you get back. Following your excitement allows you to stay on one level of high energy and high positive synchronicity. So the reality you get is very much like what you call a fairy tale. It's magical. It's miraculous. Remember, a miracle is a rule. It's the natural order of things. When miracles don't happen, that's the exception. Allow yourselves to begin to realize that you are miraculous. You are magical. Nothing is too good to be true. Nothing. Zero. Zip. It's all real. It's all true. That's the most exciting thing that we are discovering, that many people are going to discover in this expansion age on our planet. It's that when you have been taught to believe it is nothing but a fairy tale, is actually reality. You're going to wake up in a new dream of consciousness, absolute. Now, we'll understand that when we start along our path consciously, wake up and start seeing things, many things begin to happen. First of all, just illustrated, we begin to recognize that abundance comes in many forms. You simply cannot be giving something or to make an exchange or provide a service for or receive in a variety of ways the thing you need or want to do. The ability to do the things you need, when you need to do them, is if that individual had insisted on the money, it might have taken years to get the house. Because they didn't insist, because they followed their excitement, they got the house now. No money down, no money needed ever. They got the experience they want. The experience is what they're after. Not the job, not the money, the experience. Life is about experience. The experience is what is real. Do not insist that the situation has to be a certain arrangement. So that's the first thing you learn about abundance, that there are many forms of it. Let them come to you. Do not shut the door. Let them come. By following your excitement, the next thing you learn is that as soon as we start rolling, then we must continue to roll. We must continue to act on the opportunities that come to us that you attract into your life. Understand, when you're focused in a negative way, opportunities are invisible. You can't see them. You literally don't see them, but when you open up to the idea, you'll automatically align and synchronize with everything you need. You start to see the things that have always been there, but could not see. And so you must act in any given moment on the thing that excites you the most, that you have the highest degree of capability of acting upon. Sometimes situations will present themselves that you are equally excited about doing. Act on that one that has the highest degree of ability to be acted upon, because your ability to act in the various directions that will excite you will never be exactly the same. They never be equal. Act upon excitement that you will have the highest degree of ability to act on. Now, seeing more than one thing which excites you equally tells you there might be an overall, all-encompassing category into which these things fall, which if taken together represent the most exciting thing we chose to do. And these equally exciting things are simply different manifestations of the same one and most exciting thing. Let that be your clue into the thing that excites you the most. You don't have to have a life-spanning career in order to know what excites you the most at that moment. You can take it one step at a time. What is the thing that excites you the most right now? Stay in the moment. Staying in the moment is the best way to fulfill a life-spanning career anyway. Doing the thing that excites you the most at any given moment that you are capable of acting upon will lead you automatically, effortlessly, and abundantly into the next situation that will lead you, that you will need to be led into to provide the ability to do the next most exciting thing that you can possibly do. And so follow that thread. It's going to the next level, a stepping stone. Everything in a situation in life is a stepping stone towards your next stepping stone. The excitement is a thread. Follow it. Follow your excitement. You lay it out, follow it. It's your thread. It's not your thread following her thread, it's your thread. You know, you're all following your own thread. Follow your heart, follow your mind. Now, many of you have begun to follow your excitement in life. Many of you have begun to act on the opportunities that you will attract into your life. And many of you now arrive at a new threshold or a new address. Someday you say, well, I've been doing the thing that excites me. I've been recognizing that opportunities haven't come to me, and I haven't acted on them. All of a sudden, something stopped. I started to see opportunities, but no whole opportunity. No whole direction makes itself obvious or apparent. No, what's happening? Am I slipping back into negativity? What's happening there? All right, very important thing to remember here. You are a creator, and at a certain point you're going to be expected, in a sense, by your actions, to act more like a creator. And what does it mean? And what this means is, as you create the ability to act, to trust, to be excited, to follow your dreams, and as you attract opportunities in whole form, there will come a time when all of a sudden you will shift from attracting opportunities to being expected to create the opportunity. To create the opportunity, literally just say, from scratch. That's where you really have to be bold. Where you really have to be inspired. Where you really have to use your hard imagination and your full creativity to actually invent, to create, to manifest from nothing the opportunity that you can then act on. Now we're pulling ourselves up by our own bootstraps. At this point, we're actually creating stepping stones that you take to the next step. When you just stop waiting for them to come after you take a step, do an act, or soon see the opportunity to come. Yes, up to a certain point, but after that point, you must actually build the next step before you can take the next step. You will understand what I mean about this if you already arrived at that point, or when you do, because you will. That's where your full blossom, your full power of creativity expected to come to bear. When you have to look at these things like you've never looked at them before, and see the ability in nothing to create an opportunity. To see things that might completely disassociated to most people, but see how they connect to them. To create a new third thing is an opportunity not only for you, but all individuals involved in the connection. Then you are really high-powered. Then you're really beginning to take the first baby steps of true creation. True manifestation. Now, just for a moment, let us use what you have to springboard up to the next level. So what you have experienced now is but one infinitesimal atom of the ecstasy and the abundance and the flow and the synchronicity that you could experience in your life. Do you think you could stand that much ecstasy, or you would just explode? All right, then do not say you don't know how to proceed. You do. All of you, all you have to do is use your imagination the very same way you use it in this day of your time. In whatever way, and in whatever direction you so desire. There are no limitations at all. It's only what you're creating is a limitation. Create the reality you prefer. Create what your imagination is most strongly and magnetic attracted to, and go and be with the people that you feel you are representative of the vibration you want in your life. Let them rub off on you. Be that person now. Act like that person you want to be now. Do the thing that the person would do now. Be as bold in every endeavor that excites you as you have been this day of your time. You have been given you have given yourself the perfect example you have created yourself. You are in no way lacking in creativity and generation of flow, and as you very strongly in the spirit, from this point forward, when you express that you don't know how to proceed, nobody's going to believe you. This is a side story about, what I'm reading here, is that there's two lawyers. They grew up in the same neighborhood. They have a business on the same street. They went to the same college. Okay? One is successful, one is not. Why? Because one is doing what a lawyer does. The other one's being a lawyer. There's a difference. See? There's a little more I gotta cover here. This is actually from a YouTube video that I transcribed. We already know we're already planning. I am doing what I am doing, communicating to you and others because it's my joy. I would do it if there was only one person listening. I would do it if there was no one listening. I would do not make my joy and my expression of my joy conditional. And because I make it unconditional, there are always people to talk to. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to plan for it. I just have to express my joy for no other reason, for that is who I am. I don't need another reason. I don't need to do anything for me. I do it because it is me, and there's no better reason than that. When you thus then simply choose to be who you are, and then everything that needs to be there will be there, abundance, what have you. The idea about abundance can be the idea of money. It's a value exchange, but not the only way. Sometimes actually money is the longest route. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So the idea is to let it be and drop the insistence that it must be this way so that abundance can come to you in any way that it needs to represent the path of least resistance in the most expansive expression. The critical key here is that when you can learn to do more with less, you will then be able to do less and get more. You get that? I'll say it again. When you can learn to do more with less, you will then be able to do less and get more. There's a story. If there's a fancies himself as an artist, an artist with fancy paints and computers and stuff like that, and fancy pens and fancy things to make, to be an artist. But if all you have is a burnt stick, burnt charcoal stick, burnt in a fire, and scratched in a cave wall, you are no less an artist than a person with a computer or a pen and pencil. If you judge that the burnt stick doesn't allow you to be an artist, as much as the artist with all the high technology, that is where you get yourself into trouble, where you short-circuit your ability to attract abundance. When you can do as much as you possibly can imagine you can do with what you have, when you can do more with less, if you just have the burnt stick to create beautiful images with the burnt stick, and do what you can with the burnt stick, and do beautiful sculptures with the burnt stick, then that act will radiate out, and you will attract, it will attract to you other individuals, other circumstances who will then interact with that level of energy, the level of conviction you put out, that will bring you more opportunity to get more by doing less. And don't you observe the most, unquote, accomplished artist among us can actually just wiggle a few lines and be considered a masterpiece worth millions. The beginners simply go through complexity, but usually they come back to simplicity when they are advanced. They have learned to do with little they have to begin now what they do with very little to get quite a lot. They have learned that, to do less. That is the principle. Try it in every field. In every endeavor, there's always a counterpart. One of the components is clarity of communication. Anxiety versus excitement. You know, it's the person that's excited with it. He's communicating with his higher self. And that's with you know, are you communicating with excitement or anxiety? So this is the things I'm passionate about. And you can see I got a tattoo on my arm. It's infinity. And to me, it's like kind of fun too. You know, because I feel passionate about it. I really feel strongly about it. I have a knowingness, you know, since my childhood with all this principles that we come here for. So that's my talk. Thank you.